Federico at BOAR Games just sent me an amazing collection of samples for their upcoming crowdfund campaign for Castle System 4. This is an incredible system of 3D printed objects with magnets embedded. They are pre-painted. And if you know anything about the previous crowdfund campaigns for Castle System, then you already know about the high quality of the components, as well as the careful attention put into their construction, because these are all modular components that go together, as well as the meticulous paint schemes that pretty much guarantee you will not need to wet your brushes when these come in the mail. You're probably also aware of the magnets embedded in each piece, which make customization an absolute breeze. What you don't know, though, is there has been an obvious upgrade in some way, shape, or form of these components, as these, to me and my barbarian hands, feel to be superior to their previous offering. In terms of strength, they have figured something out here, and I don't know if it's because of their own studies on the matter or because of feedback, but these pieces all feel like they are just a bit stronger in some way. Perhaps it's more infill, perhaps it's a slightly different formulation of the material used to print, but my perception is that the materials are stronger than in past offerings. This time, the theme is docks, a way to get your party out of the dungeon and onto the open seas, into the ocean. I don't know if you caught that, but yeah, the magnets are at work, and this time I don't have any polarization issues. Everything just seems to work the way that I would think it should. Not that I had a lot of polarization issues with the last offerings, but some of those fences, some of those rails around the rooftops, they just did not want to work together. What you also might not realize is that this one comes with a ton of actual machinery, working parts, things that move, things that have utility. This wheel actually turns. The spindle actually has a pulley attached to a real chain. The chain is a fine jewelry chain, but in your RPG world, it's going to be a thick black chain true to scale. And this will bring up our platform so that we can use this as an elevator, or see, where's the other one? Here it is. We can lower these nets into the ocean. I am a sucker for this sort of thing. If I wanted to, I could glue this together, never having to take it apart again, but I think I'll keep it this way so that I have a little bit of customization, or a little bit of an option maybe to separate the net, use the net for other things if I so desire, or portray a situation in which heroes must escape and therefore must destroy the net to get out of their entrapment from the enemy, who has captured them like a bunch of fish. I want to go over each of these components, and I don't think I'm going to be able to do them enough justice just with my hands, my camera, and the amount of time that I can spend on this, but I thought they were so cool, and I had to show you the machinations of Castle Systems 4, as well as express my deepest appreciation to Federico over at BOAR Games for sending this to me. Thank you so much, BOAR Games. But Ash, I don't have any boats. That's okay. There are several boats that come with this. Skiffs, fishing boats. I'm actually the last person to ask about boat terminology. There's a lot that I am not going to be able to name appropriately because I don't have that background. I don't have that knowledge in the fantasy realm. Boat construction can get surprisingly elaborate. Everything has got a name, and everything named has a very specific purpose. You're having to deal with the water below you, and you need to be less dense than the water you are displacing to stay afloat. You also need to have mechanics so that your craft can move. This can be by oar, so we have plenty of oars here for your heroes, or perhaps your men-at-arms to use, as well as various other accoutrements such as rope and fish. Oh, what a fine kettle of fish we get. These guys look so cool. They're so true to life, so accurate. They're huge too, so your heroes at the 28mm or 32mm scale could catch any of these fish, and it would look like a really good catch. Then that's no fish tail. In increasing size, we don't just have this little escape boat, but we have this bad boy. Oars could definitely stay at the ready here off to the sides, so your miniatures could row for your lives. Row like your lives depend on it, because they very much might. Talked about the construction. These guys are constructed very nicely. They are still modular. I'm not really quite sure. I would guess because it's just too difficult to print the same quality of product if you were to print this and this together in one print. The flooring kind of makes sense. It would make sense to have the flooring be separate, so you could remove it and replace it with damaged flooring, or take this out in order to paint it if you did not like the colors of this floor floor, and maybe that's why also the other pieces as well. Having a little bit of difficulty removing that. But that's not because of the construction of this. I'm just not digging in appropriately. All right, let's put this boat back together, and it's very possible that when you receive this, if you do back this or order it, that your stuff will come in pieces. So it's very easy, intuitive, and doesn't require any excess force or anything like that for this to go back together. And then when it's together, you know, it's just all nice and arranged, and it's not going to come apart again unless you want it to. All right, that makes me think somewhere around here I have a floor for this boat, but I want to keep this moving, so I'm going to show you the big boat now. This is really cool. It even has a moving rudder. So awesome. We've got an anchor on a chain here. You could use these with any of these boats. Chain here has nothing on the other end. Now, I don't have like an instruction sheet that tells me how I could put some of these together to form their completed versions, at least completed as far as the authors intended, so to speak. But there are magnets all over the place. This guy's chain just immediately magnetized to the bottom of this boat, which actually provides this sort of look like that's a really heavy chain to scale in your 28 or 32 millimeter world. It's kind of crazy how well that worked by accident, or was it by design? You'll have noticed the center part of the boat here. I would really love if a boat enthusiast, somebody who's really passionate about boats, could chime in about the names of some of these parts. This here, the center barrel, which holds the sail staff. And then we have our 3D printed canvas, which looks and feels just like sailcloth canvas, but is of course rigid. It doesn't actually have any flow to it. So good thing it has been produced in such a way as to already look like it is flowing. Obviously that is not right, but we'll move on. We have another chain and winch system here. And just like the mechanics of it would expect you to believe, it's a little bit more difficult to pull the roped object off of the wheel. It's simpler to, oh no, what is that? That doesn't actually turn that. This one does. It's because it's not fastened on there exactly. It's just spinning in place. If I glued that on there though, it would work. It seems to work with the other flywheel. So we can actually get a working winch that way. What's that for? Well, you could, it's going to be more obvious for people who have any sort of docking experience. I would imagine you can place this onto your boat to help it dock or keep it docked at a port. The magnets mean that sometimes the chains are going to wrap around things that they're not supposed to go around. Get off of there. While it does work mechanically, it is more to provide a sense of immersion and realism to your scene, something that's very believable. And yeah, this is going to sell the scene for me for sure. This is so nice. It's painted so well, really big props and kudos to whoever does the paint jobs for these. They do such an amazing job with everything. We can also place this on the ship, and then we can use this ship to winch up treasures that have sunk into the depths. It's probably not at all the intention of that, but that's just where my mind likes to go. A little bit of Legend of Zelda Wind Waker action. I'll share some video from this project's crowdfund page. But the docks are one of the centerpieces of this whole system. The groundwork of this is you have these docks that are fully customizable. You have many pieces of dock. I actually have two stacked on top of each other here, but this is what we're really looking for. And the way that they snap together is very satisfying, and it's just effortless. You're going to have more time invested in trying to figure out how you like to best arrange these to make a dock scene that you think looks cool. And that's going to be more time and trouble for you than the actual assemblage of the docks. They're just going to snap together and they're done. And they don't have to snap together. You can always just place them because it's not like you're going to experience tidal waves at your dock, unless you are, which is totally up to you. The dock floorboards are separate from the actual framework so that you can do things like this. Take this apart, and by the way, the chains that keep people from falling to their demise into the crashing waves, those are also separate, and they just snap right onto the edges, so you can configure any manner of protective area perimeter. But we're taking those out so that we can put these together like so, and then the rest of the docks, which are here, I can place those around, move our chains over because it's really just this easy. Some of them are corner pieces like this, so you can protect both axes of the end of a dock. Really pulling these terms out from nowhere, I realize. Put that here. You could remove these frames too, and now you have like this fishing hole, basically, if you'd like, or something from which a creature emerges. This is how you could release the Kraken in your adventure. Release the Kraken. I'm the Kraken. Creature of demonic rage. Then we have a floor right here, and these are not unlike at all the previous systems. Floors, they are double-sided, so you could flip them over to the cobblestone side if you want, which looks super, super cool. And it's very much textured like the cobblestone floor. We could flip it this way though and have our nice civilized brick, and now we can place that down. And that actually can look like something all on its own, and that's fine and dandy and cool. But with this system, we get more of these walls, and some of the walls are just walls. Some have window and some have door. And you know what you can do with 4 walls? I'll give you one guess, and the first one doesn't count. You can slide these together in order to create buildings. And they do slide. They have a little bit of a lock system due to the bevel shape of the edges and the grooves on the posts. So we can create this sort of fishing shack right here in place. And if you decide to destroy it later because you want to make this the object of the Kraken's rage, then that's totally up to you. That's a thing that you can do as an adult. Aren't you glad you aged? You didn't know you could summon Krakens when you were a kid. You thought you were just going to lose out on nap time, have to pay taxes. And honestly, yeah, whether or not that's a worthwhile trade-off, that's subject to interpretation. But we have already built our house, just like so. I have a couple of other things I could do at this juncture. I could construct some stairs going up around the side of this house on successive platforms. I could do that. It would be fine. It would be dandy. I could go ahead and place my roof on it now. And by the way, this I thought was pretty interesting. We have a different magnet orientation on the bases of some of these than we did in previous releases. And I'm wondering if that's to give us a bit of customization in a way I just haven't seen yet. I haven't spotted, haven't realized it yet. We also have a couple of these pieces, which I haven't quite figured out the use for yet. They could just be like alternate bases to place our dock flooring on. They're not magnetic though. Again, I didn't have any materials to necessarily go off of. I'm kind of going in here blind, and I did not take the time to look up any because I really wanted to just dive into this blindly. So I'm just doing what I wanted to do, basically. Baggy here, if you thought the immersion was done, you were sorely mistaken. We have our lights. These are on the Crowdfund video, I believe, and they're just going to snap right in place. Yep, because we have magnets right in the corners. So then, bam, lights. We're going to get a little bit of a better view once I come down and show you this a little more in detail, but it is so pretty already right now. We have a series of roofs to choose from, 2 of this style, 2 of the other style. We do have enough walls and floor and posts to make 1 more building. If we want to make 2 separate buildings, that's fine. You can totally use your existing posts and walls and things from your previous castle system if you got 3. All the stuff that was sent to me before would be 100% compatible with this, so I can just add on to my growing castle systems village. But now I have a fishing harbor, and yes, once again, thanks to the magnets, everything stays in place as I rotate. Now, if I start to pick this up, it's all going to fall apart, but you can definitely put together some assemblies and pick them up, and they won't fall apart. And then we already have just a beautiful scene. This is a beautiful scene. We have our docks, and it's a tragedy. I don't have any mats that show water. If you see a peak of blue off to the side, that's a dungeon mat. It's not water, but this is what we have. We've got these guys too, so we could probably find the spot. Yep, right on the post, right there. So now there's going to be a hanging lantern, and we could actually lower that if we wanted to. There are several spots where that could go in. I'm just going to bring you down and show you this now, up close. It's so cool. It is so cool. I put that together in basically minutes. If you saw any jump cuts in the video, any editing applied, honestly, I didn't edit this for time at all. I do cut silences out fairly automatically, but this was very close to the amount of time that I just spent putting it together and gabbing with very minimal time spent not talking, just reaching around the table trying to grab stuff and giving it a few seconds to look at. Man, that is so nice. You can put whatever you want in here, and the way this system is designed, you can just lift the roof off whenever your party enters a building, so that way you can continue playing. There is no immersion lost. The theater of the mind is not necessary just because you're shifting from indoors to outdoors, vice versa. And if you probably caught a glimpse of it, yeah, I'll show you now. This came with a couple of other things, one being this beautiful multi-part tower, which we also had a brazier that was included. Sorry, I only see that word in print, and I'm permanently broken when I try to say it. Yes, we have a lady's bra that was included with this tower. We can put it at the very top. I don't think that that's necessarily mandatory. It doesn't have any magnet or anything inside. You could use it wherever you like, but I saw this tower and I saw this and I said, I know what I have to do. That has to be my medieval lighthouse. That's what that has to be. And this will just magnetize right on the top and bam, tower. And this is such a beautiful tower. It's so exciting to have an awesome tower like this. Again, pieces all sized to be compatible with your previous Castle Systems release. If you have doors of a different variety that you would like to swap out with this one, you can do that. And if it wasn't evident, this is actually multi-story. You can pull off these stories one at a time as your heroes go up the stairs to explore this tower. And the way that this is all positioned, the magnets will snap into place once they are in the appropriate spot for the entrance to meet up with the flight of stairs. It's really, really cool. Of course, because they're kind of like interpolated around the perimeter, it'll snap in other spots too that are incorrect, but that's not important. Just make sure that you rotate it correctly. We've got a couple of spots for the inside. Don't know what those are for myself. Actually don't know what those are for. Interesting. I didn't notice those when I was putting all this together, but that's okay. We have our ground floor right here. Again, you can just enter this through the door or exit out the door. No loss of immersion. You could start out with this floor with the understanding that this is a tower here. And when your adventurers go through it, whatever adventurer is in here, when they decide to go up the stairs, that's when you can place the next floor on top. I'm kind of spending a lot of time on the tower, but it's because I really, really like the tower. And I really like the concepts that this tower implements in practice in order to give you this immersive experience. Yeah, this is one of my favorite things about this whole system. It would be my favorite, actually, if it weren't for the fact that I am on an Odyssey kick, and the creators also sent me this Trojan horse. I couldn't find this Trojan horse on the Castle Systems 4 campaign page. Doesn't mean it's not there, it just means I couldn't find it. So if it's there, perhaps as an add-on option or something, then that would be awesome. I'm really hoping that it is included in some way with this system though, because this is such an awesome piece. I am in love with this piece. And it's totally modular. The horse comes off of the rolling platform. So if this is included, then you get a rolling platform that you can use that really rolls. I know, big whoop, right? But the horse is actually a Trojan horse, and you could fit actual stuff inside, like your Cheetos when you're attempting to hide a snack and grab a bite in between turns when the high elf is taking too long to figure out if they want to try to kiss the bartender or not. No, this is really amazing. The sculpt is awesome. Those legs come off too, so this is all really easy to store. In its entirety, all this stuff is really easy to break down, and because it's not a lot of house, because it's like just one building this time, maybe two building, and tower and horse and dock, it will go back into a box if you need to store it away. Much simpler and much easier, and other synonyms that mean the same thing, and much faster than the previous BOAR Games release. I said I was going to show you this with miniatures, and I have plenty of miniatures here to show, although they are all Warhammer Underworlds, but I do have Idoneth Deepkin, which are a water-based faction, so I can at least have those guys kind of out and about. And yeah, we have an actual literal giant crab here that I can place. I can think of no better opportunity for that crab to show off his skills. We have this monstrous fish who's going to be placed here, a Stormcast Eternal, and then a normal-sized skeleton who is just going to hang out and be like a zombie pirate. And then we will have, where are you? Another normal-sized Deepkin who is going to be ready with his harpoon. These are beautiful miniatures, so they are going to be very appropriate, I think, for this beautiful scenery. We have one more Idoneth. I don't want to leave her out. My OCD would kill me to learn that I forgot one of these minis later on. I think there were only 5. I really hope there were only 5. But we're going to take a trip right back down. These are 32mm miniatures. The Stormcasts are pretty big pieces. You're probably not going to have a lot of miniatures that are this size, because Stormcasts are just big in universe. It just is what it is. But like for your regular 32s, okay, so this is more sized for the 28, it seems, and I think that that's fine. I don't think it's going to be a loss of immersion. It's not going to be like a loss of functionality to use your 32mm. It's not like these are necessarily tiled out, although you could say that each one of these dock tiles is a 2x2. You could do that. It would not be offensive. It would work out just fine as long as your base size was appropriately sized. And this is a 28mm base, so gee, what a coincidence. Now we can grab a classic HeroQuest sized base, which is 28 millimeter. Throw this heroic two-headed goblin on here. This is from Thingiverse. It's not anything official. It's just something that I found and printed a long time ago. And I always kind of have it nearby to test with these things. As you can see, this door and this whole system is going to set up very, very well for your 28 millimeter minis. And let's see, if we go smaller than that, the 72nd scale, that's not going to work. It's going to be too big for those guys, although you will be able to use the stairs a little bit better. You can still use the stairs if you want, as long as the lip of your base fits under them, which is not really happening that successfully for me here. But yeah, 1, 2, 3, and then if you only rolled a 3 and you had to stop on the stair, you could do that. That would be kind of silly. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but you can do it. And then we'll see if the same thing works for our Stormcast. No, not at all. Not at all. Our Ideneth Deepkin are here. They're waiting to plunge the sea of its depths of chaos to make sure that they can purge out any evils lurking under the waters. They are guarding this storehouse because inside is some kind of cash that the evils would want. But let's see what happens when we place them on our tower. Well, our Stormcast isn't going up there. It's not happening with that base size. Sorry, buddy. But we could definitely put one of our normal sized Deepkin up here, and we could immediately regret it because that fire's in the way. So, okay, that's going to be a 28 millimeter advisory as well. But if we didn't have the fire up there, we absolutely could put our Deepkin. And if we were just trying to build a diorama and we didn't care about moving these miniatures around, guess what? That can go right back in there, close right back up, and we're back to Beauty Town. It looks so cool. We cannot get over how much of an improvement has been made. And I didn't even think there was that much room for improvement for Board Games' Castle system. But there we go. There you have it. So yeah, any Age of Sigmar game utilizing the Ideneth Deepkin is going to be a go. These are going to work a lot better with something like the Old World, though, if you're using them for Warhammer or any kind of wargaming system like that. And I think those guys, I'm honestly not sure what scale they're going to be. But if you're using them for a war game, it's not like the moving components are really going to be that much of a draw or a turnoff for you either way anyway. So anyways, one more huge, enormous thank you so much to Castle Systems, or to BOAR Games rather. And I don't know if the subtitles are picking it up, but it's BOAR, like the animal, BOAR Games. They are the creators of Castle System. And Castle System is what you see before you, and this is the fourth offering, the fourth collection, the fourth campaign. This time themed around Port City, around fishing. I said I was going to do this, so I'm going to do it real quick. Look at this beauty. Look at what I caught. Yeah, no, that's, you know what? That's, compared to this particular miniature, it's not that impressive of a catch. But compared to this one, yeah, that's good. That's good. And having like a whole bunch of them like this, that's going to be dinner. That's dinner, boys. Fish is back on the menu, boys. And they fit in the net. They fit in the net. Look at that. You're sold. You are now sold on this RPG universe because I put fish in a net. I really am this hyped. This is not script. I really am just this excitable because this is so cool to just sit and play with. Will the Stormcast Eternal fit in the horse? Because it does seem like the Stormcast would devise a plan kind of like this. Yeah, it would. A 28mm Old Hammer Warband would fit inside the horse in its entirety, but we could cram like 2 Stormcasts in there. Such a cool freaking horse. It is so cool. Its leg comes off. All of its legs come off. The fitment of everything makes a lot more sense than it did with the 3rd edition, just in small ways, just small things here and there. Little improvements that really add up because it seems like they were paying attention to feedback, perhaps, or they were just striving for perfection and meeting excellence along the way. Things I really admire about anybody engaged in manufacturing. That more or less is Castle Systems 4, so I hope you'll look forward to seeing these components used in some other videos whenever we are going to be doing scale comparisons or creating presentations that require a bit of an aquatic theme. I'll put pertinent links in the description below. Please go check them out. One more note before you go. I know in the last video that I did for a Castle Systems product, there were people who were priced out, and they voiced this opinion. It was a fact. They were simply priced out. They could not afford the tiers of the system being offered. That is a possibility. That's always going to be something that happens with gaming. There is going to be something out there that you really want, but you can't get it, either because it's just too high of a cost it's out of print, the secondhand market's going crazy, whatever the case may be. You can absolutely justify your own stance because your money is your own. And some things out there, you do have people who want to be a bit exorbitant in what they charge for their products. This one is going to be a little high for some people. It's going to price some people out. That's just the way it is. There is a lot here, and this is for a particular kind of scenery, theater of the mind, dungeon master. This isn't going to be a thing that is very accessible for everybody. However, there are tier options. There are things to look at and decide if it's something that you really feel that strongly about. The tower is super cool. It is amazing. Can you get similar towers for much cheaper? That depends, but the answer generally is yes, you can get a similar tower. I have an entire village that basically every single house just costs $1.25 because they're the kinds of little decorative houses that you use for your Christmas villages, or you place them out in your garden and they're just like fairy homes. I have a bunch of those. They're extremely cheap because they're just little. They're not really made for hobbyists or game tabletop enthusiasts. If they were, then certainly they would be priced higher for no reason other than capitalism. But the fact remains, I can get those very, very cheap instead of having to peruse like a web store for anything that's 3D printed. But that thing that's 3D printed, that is going to be from a smaller entity that is doing it for a specific purpose, and the money would really help them out. So there's things to weigh there. There's pros and cons. Anyway, this tangent's getting out of control. I'm going to stop it here. Thank you very much, kind viewer, if you got this far. If you did, please comment fish down below. Go visit that link, and if there are any comments you would like to share about this, let me know. I'm not telling you to buy or not to buy any particular thing. I am saying that this is really, really cool, and if you really, really need fish in your campaign, or a tower, or a series of docks and ships, then this could be worth looking at. This might be the thing that is for you. This is going to be my Eye of Madness for my Elden Ring TTRPG. You have to climb it. You have to take out the people who are up here in order to extinguish the flame of madness, so you don't have to always hide when you're in the region. I also did not piece together every single little thing in this video, so you are getting more than what I'm showing because there's a lot of stuff that's still in pieces on my table. I put together one house. I don't feel the need to put together the other house or swap out roofs or anything like that. It's more, I just hope you get the idea. So good. It's so good. You do need to consider too, the quality of the components it's top tier. It's like S tier. The only way this could get any better is if it was all injection molded, and that's because I am an injection molded freak. I wasn't actually born. I myself was injection molded. Then they filled the resultant product with 120 rats, and here I am today. Thank you, brave heroes. I will see you in the next exciting adventure. Until then, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you again to BOAR Games, and onward for now.